Welcome back. This time we're talking about Deadpool 2, the sequel to the hit superhero film from 2016 that proved if you make an accurate and entertaining version of the Merc with a Mouth, people actually go see it and enjoy it. Now 2 years later, we finally get the sequel. With most of the principal cast back, along with the screenwriters, although we do have a new director. David Leitch, who gave us John Wick, as well as Atomic Blonde. Now, I'm a big fan of the original Deadpool movie, not just because it was the very first film I ever reviewed on this channel. It was just a perfect mix of fourth wall breaking, profane humor, and genuine heart. Now, as big a fan as I am, I was actually surprised to realize that I actually had not rewatched the movie since seeing it a couple times in theaters back in 2016. So my plan before going to see Deadpool 2 was to see the original film again. That did not happen due to scheduling until the very night before I went to go see the sequel. And I have to admit, after rewatching the movie, enjoyed it just as much as I remembered enjoying it, I began to get concerned about the sequel, because rewatching it reminded me just how unique and precise the balance had to be between the humor and the fourth wall breaking and the genuine emotion that we get out of the story. And I was wondering, can they really pull this off again? And nothing that we saw in the marketing campaign, which was hilarious, gave us a clue on how that balance would be. But then again, the original marketing campaign didn't give us a clue on how emotional the film would be either. So suffice it to say that I actually was rather nervous going into the sequel. Fortunately, I had no reason to be, because Deadpool 2 is a phenomenal movie that once again finds somehow that perfect balance between profane humor and emotion. And this film has a lot of both. It manages to find that razor thin balance, so we don't have tonal whiplash as we jump between emotional scenes and the more humorous scenes. The emotion doesn't fall into melodrama and sour the humor. The humor does not make us forget the emotion that we got. They find a way to have a nice pace between the two and really have a lot of fun along the way. The story, and let me say this is a complete spoiler-free review, essentially follows Deadpool as he attempts to protect this young mutant from Cable, played by Josh Brolin, who is from the future and basically is here to kill this kid to stop things from happening in the future. And that's the main setup for the main plot arc. There's some emotional arcs here or there and other things that happen that I'm not going to talk about in the spoiler-free review. But they managed to tie it all together really well by the end. The acting across the board is excellent. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Josh Brolin is really great as Cable, coming right off of playing Thanos. As I mentioned earlier, pretty much the entire surviving main cast is back. They're great as well. In addition to Josh Brolin, our two main principal additions to the cast are Julian Dennison as the young Russell. If you're not familiar with his work, definitely check out The Hunt for the Wilder People. Phenomenal film. He was in the lead there. He's really good in this film as well. And the other highlight amongst the additions is Zazie Beetz as Domino, a mutant whose superpower is essentially that she's really, really lucky. And despite what Deadpool says in the trailer, her power is definitely cinematic. I will say, as far as negatives go, there aren't many. The primary ones is the special effects are kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not really good at all. But the film is always at such a pace during these moments that it's easy to just sort of forgive it as we're enjoying the action and laughing at all the jokes. So overall, Deadpool 2 is pretty much everything that we could have hoped for from a Deadpool sequel. Gives us all of the humor, gives us all of the laughs, gives us all of the heart and emotion that ties it all together. And as I said many times during this review, manages to find the balance between the two that most people would find impossible to do once, and somehow this group has managed to do it twice. So if you're a fan of Deadpool, definitely check out the sequel. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. If you have not seen Deadpool, you really need to see the first one first. And if you haven't seen it, then let me go ahead and throw out the warning. This is definitely very, very R. Definitely not for the whole family. But definitely a lot of fun. So for now, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you've seen Deadpool 2, what did you think about it? As always, you can subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.